quick college basketball update, men's college basketball. Sunday turning into Monday, December 21st. We're at Sunday, the night of the 20th. Let's talk a little bit about the games on the 20th. Some of them are still going on. I think St. Louis was losing slightly to Minnesota, which is one of my big picks. So we'll find out what happens there. But just in terms of win losses so far, looks like we're 9-5 and 6-8 against the spread, but there's this spread cover number, which means something more. So I'll talk about that in a minute. And also, we'll talk about Monday's games. Xavier beat Marquette. That was the pick of the day, right? I think it was. That means we're now 3 days in a row with our pick of the day. What they win? They won 91-88. Oh yeah. So here's what I want to talk about. Is I like seeing this. This is a pretty good win-loss percentage when it comes to all games. Our home games are 9-2. It looks like Nevada blows it to Air Force because Nevada's not that strong of a power percentage. Remember, I think I brought that up yesterday. And then it's Connecticut loses to Creighton, but that was way, way down there. And then our away games, we were 0-3. Are you serious? Weber State loses. Oh, that was one of our picks. I didn't bet today. I fell asleep. I was not feeling good, so I ended up sleeping like most of the day by accident. Didn't make a bet on anything. Football, basketball. Just checking in on all this stuff now. Grand Canyon covered, right? Yeah, they did. Grand Canyon ends up covering the 7 they needed to. So I said take them plus a 7. They do. That's good. But all these teams lost. Weber State, that sucks. That's weird. But anyway, so yes, one thing I wanted to look at quickly was how did our point projections do? So let's hide everything except the projections. And just look and see, well, are the colors of these things and these things matching up? If they're the exact same color, then that means the projection here was the same amount or range of points, close to the same number as the final score actually was. And this is the opponent's version of that, the opponent's final and the opponent's projected. So here, like you can see, we projected less than we thought that Alcorn was going to score, and we predicted less than Houston was going to score. So maybe we should up our point projections range thing because this was we projected a little bit lower in both instances. Well, what about this game? Drake, same thing. We predicted less. And same thing. We predicted less for Chicago State. Georgia Tech, we predicted less. Delaware State, we predicted slightly more, but just about around the right, but they only had 2 games played. Weber State, we predicted more, and we predicted almost exactly how many Portland State, but we under projected Weber State's offense. Arkansas, we predicted right around the same amount, but not for Oral Roberts. Predicted this exactly for Robert Morris and Marshall. We had a little lower than we thought they were going to score. Why are these? Wow, these are so this is the lowest scoring. It's interesting. The lowest projected scoring team of the game we had was Iowa State. And it looks like they actually scored the fewest points of every single team on this list on the day. That's kind of cool. Right? That's pretty awesome. Like we thought that the lowest scoring team of all these teams of the day was going to be Iowa State. For example, let's sort this stuff by projected score ascending. Yes. And then the final score ascending, this is where you would see which teams scored the least and how we had predicted it. Super cool. All right, there's a lot of different ways to look at this. We're going to learn more. I don't know. I don't know what to make heads or tails of everything yet because it's still under construction. This is why I'm not offering this Excel file yet. It's just there's too much that's going on right now. It's not ready yet. But we can always talk about tomorrow's games and talk about as it's growing. And also, somebody asked me, there was a comment, and somebody was like, hey, Ken, you only got like half the games of the day on here. And I was like, yes, I do only have half the games on here. And that's because when I went looking through where to get odds for the games, I found out that you can't always. Some of these games don't have odds, and if they don't have odds, I don't have them in here. And it doesn't mean that you couldn't still project them. So when I start offering the Excel file in the future, you would be able to choose different teams down here. Like if you just brought in another team and we didn't have it, you could just do this, and it'll start to run percentages on things, and it'll tell you, the strength of those teams. So there's definitely a way to do it if something isn't in the list. But as for right now, all I have is what I have. So let's talk about Monday, right? 5 minutes into this video. The picks for Monday. Stuff's going to change. There may be updates or whatever. I don't know. But just quickly to glance, because, it does give us some intelligence. There are definitely going to be stat updates, though. Let's see. I don't know. There's a good deal of games in here. Good number of games. And I would say go subscribe to the Google Sheet and you get the updated information. I don't really have time to go through every one of these games, and I don't think I'm even going to bet tomorrow. I'm not feeling great. I got other work to do. I'm not really into this right now, but I know that there's a lot of you that are taking advantage of this and making money, and it's good to have the information. So I'm going to leave it up there for you. But go subscribe if you're interested. I'll give you a pick of the day, because I always do. We're 3 days in a row. I got to try to give you another pick of the day for tomorrow. So based on what we have here, I want to prune out a lot of things. And so I'm going to do what I did before and prune out a bunch of junk. And so we're going to create some slicers here real fast. We're going to create slicers for games played and opponents' games played. And I don't want anybody who's played or their opponent has played less than, I want everyone to have 4 games or more. Everybody. So I just removed everybody and their opponents that haven't played at least 4 games that are playing on Monday that I have in the list of odds, which I know is not incomplete, but it's as good as I can do right now. I mean, we only have so many times in the day. The schedule that's going, like the changes in schedule that are happening all the time, nobody knows what's going on. It's a freaking disaster. It's just COVID's destroyed any permanent scheduling. So I know I'm not going to have a complete list, but I don't know who does. Some of these games don't have odds because they keep changing and nobody has time to do anything. So, all right. So these games are potential. Well, what looks good? Eastern Illinois on the road. No, the power percentage is bad. How about this? How about I only want teams with power percentages greater than. I want teams with power percentages that are greater than has to be at least 0.25. Has to be. All right. Now we're getting a better list. And I think I gotta remember to unhide that later. I think we got a lot of good home teams here, but these lines are terrible, terrible. No line. Memphis at Tulsa is minus 330. It's not a great line. Wofford is away at Texas and A&M, and the margin's only 9. Also not great. Murray State. Okay, Murray State here. See, we can change the way we sort stuff. We need to go descending by margin. See how much work goes into this if you do this right. Yeah, that's what we wanted to do. So yeah, what's the story? Murray State at Austin P is minus 188 on the road. They got a nice projected score projection differential. This is a pretty decent. You can see it's orange. It's almost a really good margin, but it's not a bad margin. And that line is less than minus 200. They're not at home, though. But I don't see anything else reasonable. Let's try opening up everything again and start really messing around in the weeds, because I don't really like that as it doesn't feel like a pick of the day. So let's try and say with everything else that's on here. I'll even open up all the games. God, I'm a lunatic. All right, let's just see. Of all the things that are openly available here, is there anything that looks like it might be a pick of the day? Well, Sacred Heart. No, it's a bad power percentage. Only 3 games. There's some Underdog picks here. What's going on here? Southern Illinois at Butler. Is Butler not the Butler of past? They're only played 3 games here, but it's predicting Southern Illinois wins this game on the road, and they're plus 9.5 points, plus 410. There could be something here because of the fact that I think of Butler as a very good team. They probably are still a good team, but maybe they're just off to a weird, bad start and COVID nonsense, and who knows what's going on 2020, the year of hell. Like, maybe they're just not this year and they're just getting started, and who knows, and Southern Illinois is in different shape. But to have a 41% rating for Southern Illinois, there's a reason for that, right? Southern Illinois, where are we going to look? Let's look in values. Let's see how they're doing. They have a win percentage. They're 5-0. Their strength of schedule is not great. They've been playing some bad teams, but they have a net rating, whatever. And then what is Butler's? Butler's had a much tougher schedule, but they're 1-2, guys. And their offense is their net rating is lower. I mean, so what you have is a sneaky situation. I like that. So you're working on limited information, but Southern Illinois getting 9.5 with them is a joke. That seems like a fantastic bet to take the points with them, even if they don't probably win. And that's a ridiculous payout. So there's a lot of reasons to take that plus 9.5. I don't know if I want to call that pick of the day, but it's certainly something to consider. VMI at George Mason. All right, I got to give you a pick of the day on this game. And the reason why is I could go to this game if I was feeling fine, which I'm not really feeling great, so I won't go to that game. But I could go to that game. I could go to that game. Mason's only played 3 games. Mason's better than this says. It's screwing up and it's giving VMI, because they've had more games and the stats are a little distorted, the nod here. But Mason probably wins this game. So yeah, we have to do more work on this. It's too young. This algorithm needs more work. There's not enough stats yet. Missouri State only played 2 games, is minus 115 against Arkansas Little Rock at home. That's pretty good. They've only played 2 games, but we're favoring them. So that's probably okay. It's interesting. I got to give you a pick of the day, right? Damn it. I like what I was doing here. We just looked this up. We saw that Southern Illinois is 5-0, and maybe they don't win this game, but apparently they're better than everyone thinks, and that makes sense because everyone thinks of Butler normally as a really good team. So Southern Illinois plus 9.5 is the pick of the day. Good luck, everybody. May all your picks be winning.